Are you sick of feeling like you're on a diet all of the time? Do you want to know how I lose weight while only restricting calories 2 days each week? Stay tuned to learn my calorie cycling strategy that makes fat loss easier, especially if you're a woman over 40 like me. Now, before we get into it, please like the video and subscribe. I want to show you how I finally got my scale to budge even after all of the weight loss experts said as a woman approaching middle age and everything that comes along with that, that I just had to deal with the weight gain. Hey, I'm Nissa, and my 100-pound weight loss story was featured in media like People magazine and Pop Sugar. Since then, I've helped hundreds of women break free from fad and yo-yo diets with a simple macro approach, the same one that I use to lose 100 pounds. Okay, let's talk about the strategy that I use to make it seem like I'm only dieting 2 days each week. This strategy that has become my absolute BFF over 40 is called calorie cycling. And this is also sometimes referred to as carb cycling. Now, while there are some nuances between the strategies, cycling carbs and cycling calories have a lot in common, and we'll get into all that in a minute. Now, first, let's talk about what calorie cycling is, as well as the benefits of adding the strategy into your fat loss plan. Before I explain how calorie cycling works, you need to come into this video with the mindset of weight loss coming down to calories in versus calories out. And if you are screaming at your computer, "But Nissa, I have already counted calories until I turn blue in the face. Calories in versus calories out does not work." I assure you, good old calories in versus calories out, it does work when you are A, eating the right balance of macros, B, adding more movement into your day, and C, you're tracking all of the nibbles, bites, and licks that you put into your mouth throughout the day. While all of the reasons behind these calories in versus calories out rules are too complicated to get into during this video, you need to trust me. Following these rules was the only way that I can get the scale to quit going up once I turned 40. And fine-tuning the way that I followed these rules is the only way that I could get the scale to go back down after rebound weight gain that I seem to have no control over. Okay, so now that we're on the same page, that true fat loss is coming from fine-tuning your macros while also getting out and adding more movement, then we understand that losing weight on a consistent basis really comes down to establishing an appropriate calorie deficit for you. So let's say you pull up one of those fancy macro calculators, like my favorite one at prophysique.com, and you determine the calories that you should eat to lose 1 pound each week is 2,000 calories per day. Now, I know this seems like a high number, but this is the actual number that I use currently to lose 1 pound of fat each week, so it makes that number easy to work with. What most people do is plug their macros into their tracker and aim to hit that same number day after day. And while there's really nothing wrong with this approach, and you should get consistent weight loss if that number is in fact your magic number, eating 2,000 calories day in and day out may not fit into your lifestyle. Now, if you're anything like me, maybe you like to take a break from cooking on the weekends, so you end up eating out every Friday and Saturday night. And in case you're not aware, most of the calories at restaurants are way higher than meals that you cook at home. So if you only have 2,000 calories to work with on your night out, assuming that you don't starve yourself all day or do an all-day fast to save up your calories for one meal, you might not get to eat very much on your big night out. Now, this is where a strategy like calorie cycling comes in handy. So instead of eating 2,000 calories every single day, maybe you only eat 1,700 calories for the first 5 days of the week, and you bank the remaining calories that you don't use for the weekend. And this strategy works since your calorie budget is more of a week-to-week thing than something that resets every single day. So if you eat 1,700 calories Sunday through Thursday, this gives you an extra 1,500 calories to split between your meals out on Friday and Saturday night. And trust me, if you have ever looked at the calorie info at most restaurants, you are going to need those extra calories to help you stay within your budget. Now, before you cycled calories, you would have only been able to eat 2,000 calories each weekend day. But now that you banked some extra calories for the weekend, you could actually split those calories up over 2 days and enjoy 2,750 calories per night. That seems a little bit more reasonable when you're eating out. And this is just one example of calorie cycling. This is actually the way that I follow calorie cycling for the majority of the time that I've been following my flexible diet. I would typically aim to eat around 18 to 1900 calories Sunday through Thursday, and then I'd have bigger meals on both Friday and Saturday nights. But as you get closer to your goal weight, sometimes hunger signals can come on even stronger than when you're first getting started. And this is your body's natural reaction of fat loss because your body really wants to conserve as much fat as it can for your survival. So now that I personally am getting closer to my goal, I've actually started the reverse plan that I just talked about. In order to cope with my growing hunger signals, I eat higher calorie days 5 days each week while following lower calorie days only 2 days per week. So for me, just to give you an example, this looks like 3 days where I eat slightly below my maintenance calories. I eat 2 days each week where I'm eating about 40% below my maintenance calories, so a little bit less than half, and these are considered my diet days. And then 2 days each week, my Friday and Saturday nights, I'm still eating around my maintenance calories, maybe a little bit less. Just to give you an example of what my weekly breakdown looks like, it'll be like Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I'm aiming for around 2,000 calories per day. Monday and Thursday are my low calorie days at 1,500. And then on Friday and Saturday, I'm probably eating around 2,400 calories when I include my meals out. So when you average these numbers out, the breakdown is coming to 1,971 calories per day, which is right where I want to be to lose 1 pound each week. But since now I'm only eating low calorie, 1,500 calories 2 days each week, I only feel like I'm dieting 2 days each week. So the other days I feel good, I have a lot of energy, and I don't feel hungry. Now, of course, the calorie amount that you need to lose 1 pound each week could be higher or lower than my number. So make sure you use a good macro calculator to figure out your magic number and see if that number works for you. Following this type of plan not only keeps your metabolism revved up so you continue to eat more while still losing hopefully around a pound of fat each week, but for me personally, it makes me feel like I'm only dieting 2 days since the rest of the week I'm eating around maintenance or maybe just below. And practicing weight maintenance is actually another benefit of adding calorie cycling to your fat loss plan. Now, when most women start a diet, they do so without the end result in mind because, as women, we are just taught to restrict, and then you have to restrict some more so you can reach your goal weight as quickly as possible. But one problem with this is it's a really good way to lower your metabolism quickly, which when it comes to maintaining what you lose, it will be absolutely impossible, the most difficult thing, and you don't want to regain everything you worked so hard to lose. Now, another problem is you're dieting so fast that you never learn to maintain what you're losing. All you know is very low calorie, so when it comes time to maintain what you just lost, most women just go back to how they ate before they started. And as far too many of us have learned, going back to your old habits is actually the perfect way to regain everything that you worked so hard to lose, oftentimes even more. So there are other benefits to calorie cycling beyond the mental aspect of feeling like you're not dieting every single day, as well as practicing weight maintenance. There is research that suggests that you could see greater weight loss when you cycle calories. Now, I believe this to be the case because you're keeping your body guessing when you don't follow the same plan every single day. Plus, since you should be focused on losing weight responsibly, where you're losing only 1/2 to about 1% of your total body weight each week, while also adding muscle, this will help you keep your metabolism higher. Other benefits of calorie cycling include you'll have an improved ability to stick to your diet probably because you won't always feel like you're on a diet. You're also going to have less hunger overall, and you're going to have a reduction in the negative hormonal and metabolic adaptations that typically occur in a diet. Okay, at the beginning of the video, I mentioned the similarities of carb cycling versus calorie cycling. Now, the reason these two plans are similar is because most women who cut calories from their plan should be cutting from carbs first. And the reason for that is because you want to keep your protein the same pretty much every day, whether you're following a low calorie day or a high calorie day. Protein is essential for so many functions, including maintaining and gaining lean muscle, plus it'll help you feel more full. Obviously, we all want to feel more full on a diet, but if you don't care about maintaining or gaining lean muscle, if you want to keep off what you lose, then eating enough protein actually should be your second biggest priority, right behind following the caloric deficit that works for you. Now, eating enough fat is also important because it's going to help balance your hormones. A lot of women who already follow a low calorie plan just can't afford to cut any more fat. So if you are following a plan like keto, that may not be the case. But if you are following any other kind of lower calorie diet, you want to make sure that at least 25% of daily calories comes from fat to help keep your hormones in check. So if protein needs to stay high and fat is supposed to be around 25% of your calories, the last place to cut comes from carbs, which is why a lot of people who follow carb cycling are also following calorie cycling. They're kind of the same thing. And just because you're cutting carbs on a carb cycling plan or a calorie cycling plan, that doesn't mean that you need to cut out carbs completely. Now, since turning 40, my hormones will not permit me to eat less than 80 grams of carbs per day without feeling some pretty negative consequences the next day. And since I'd rather not deal with fatigue and migraines that come along with a low carb day for me, I make sure that my low carb days still have at least 80 grams of total carbs, and I still get the results that I want at this level. Now keep in mind, while this works for me, you will have to test and figure out what works for you. Okay, so that pretty much sums up calorie cycling, which is a great strategy to help you stick to your plan long term. Now, if this video brought up any other questions, please post them below. Click below in the description if you want to get my 5 best fat loss tips for women over 40, plus I'll add one-on-one coaching details in case you want to take your fat loss program to the next level.